So I'm genuinely surprised. Well, good morning, everyone. Got some parts in, 3 bearings, got a couple more parts over there. New lid goes on that one right there. But right now I'm going to work on putting these bearings. As you can see, there used to be one there. So I need to drive it in this way. And same goes on the back side of this, because that drive shaft goes from there through here. So in order to do so, I've got my handy dandy impact tool here. We will use to go in facing this way. And what I'll do to hit even pressure, you want to hit on the outer side, because that's where the force is being applied when you are pushing it into the planter. That's what holds it on there. It's just friction. You don't want to hit on the inside part, since that's like free floating, if you will, in there for the bearing. So this goes over the top and you pound it in. This right there, this top nut, unless you could pull the rubber off. If you had to unscrew that, that's good. I think I got it. Good morning once again, everyone. Still doing a few things with this planter. I do apologize. Yesterday's footage was not the best. I wasn't thinking when I took this tire off here. I didn't have to let it down, but I let it down to make it easier. That way I wouldn't have to block it up and everything. Well, I figured that the tire shop would have the tires. Well, they didn't, so I had to wait like an extra day and a half. And I took that off, not yesterday, but the day before, and then took the tire in yesterday. And then Dad's in Charleston getting some stuff now, so he's gonna swing by and pick that tire up for me, so I will have it today. But I went ahead and crawled underneath there while it was down, so it's really cramped and everything. And where this chain goes back right here to the clutch, I got that all put back together because I had to take it apart to put those 3 new bearings in. And I just wanted to check it out anyway. It looked pretty good, so that's good. Got it all greased up, and those 3 new bearings, you can't hardly see, but there's one right there and one right there, same place, and then one on the other side of this clutch. But I made a few oopsies, and there was multiple times where I thought I hit record yesterday, putting that back together, and I did not. Normally I can see the little red light flashing, but I just had it set up, and it was kind of facing behind me, and I just wasn't paying attention, so I do apologize for that, but it is what it is. You guys will kind of get the idea. I did get a new lid to go right here. It's got some stuff on it, but this one is cracked right here, clear through, so obviously we want these to be as weatherproof as possible. I mean, you don't want this to get rained on with seed in it, but if it does, that definitely helps. But, so now, while I'm waiting on Dad to bring that tire back, I'm going to work on putting these splices in here. Kind of got to think how I'm going to do that because it's a little bit different than what I was thinking. And then there's my stops that are all painted up. So I'll get those mounted. And once I get those couplers on, splices, and those stops, this thing is basically, it could be ready to go. But like I said, I'm going to hopefully get a new monitor. I don't know, I'm going to check the prices of them. The monitors themselves aren't bad, but by the time you throw in, that's just for the monitor, by the time you throw in wiring harnesses, and probably gonna have to have new seed tubes and sensors because the ones that are on here now are the old style. It's gonna get pretty pricey, but maybe I can get a new monitor to work with these old style tubes and sensors. But I'll show you guys these couplers here. So it's got one hole there in the middle for a pin, and it's a hex shaft, and so you just stick those 2 together and it'll just sit right on there. But as you can see, the hole is right where the cut's at, so that's not going to work very well. So either I'm going to have to drill a hole in each shaft and then holes through this coupler, which I really don't want to because that's a lot of drilling, or I can tack weld it on there and then I shouldn't ever have to take it off, but you just never know, so we'll see. Obviously, if you tack weld it, the weld can be cut, but it's just not ideal. But I'm gonna do some brainstorming and come up with what I want to do. Okay, I decided to do this, quote the hard way, but the proper way. I'm gonna drill through each side here and run a cotter key through each side. That will keep this shaft is the last row on the line. That'll keep it from sliding in and out and coming out, and then obviously not spinning. So the cotter keys aren't going to have any torque on them. That's just the collar. It's going to take all the torque, so don't need to worry about cotter keys shearing or anything. But get those drilled and installed. And there we go. 2 holes drilled, and that baby's not sliding anywhere. Quite a few things have happened since I talked to you guys last. Go figure, but I was kind of jumping back and forth between hopping in and helping Dad and Jonathan with that, and then doing a few things to this. As you can see, I've got the back 8 rows of the boxes hooked up. So I was testing the seed sensors. I'll show you them in a second. And I was testing to see if the old old monitors here. So this is for 8 rows, and this is technically for 8 rows. But this has only got the planter's only got 15 rows, 8 on the back, 7 on the front. So this one reads the front 7. And then this one reads the back 8. And as you can see, we got it hooked up to 12 volt power right there. She lights up. And the acre counter does work as well. So I had originally thought I was going to get a different monitor, population and acre counter, which I don't really need the acre counter because the tractors count that, but a different population monitor just because I fully expected this thing to not work basically at all. Just because the wiring does look a little there's some bare spots and some wire exposed and a few spots that I have to touch up, but we got everything to work. Let's see, turn this on and show you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to see. If you look down in here, don't know if you can see that red light down in there. This right here is a seed tube. The planter box is upside down now, but flip it over, imagine, and this part goes into the seed tube, spins, and the seed falls out. So this is flipped over. And then down into there, those little red things are called eyes, and that senses the seed go by, and that's what sends the basically information to the monitor saying that seed is going by it. So all the back 8 work. We just tested them. That's why there's corn on the ground. We had a bucket in here, and we were dropping it through there by hand, and it was actually working. And this wheel right here in the middle, you can see here's this little black box with wiring that goes up there. That is what counts your acres and also tells you that tells the monitor that the planter is planting. So the population readout was not working until you spun that, just because it needs to know that it's going. And if we spin this here, you can hear that. It's saying you're planting, or your planter's down and you're moving, but there's no corn going through. Obviously there's not. So that's good. And as I sit right now, we're going to double check prices, but as I sit right now, I may just keep this monitor set up for this year. Hopefully everything goes well. But right here is my new tire. Got it put on, so got 4 good tires now. Like I said earlier, have some spares, but got it put on and raised back up to where I can work on this well. Also got these stops that I made first off for this put on right here. So from here to here is what I put on, I made. And what we'll do when we plant corn, so these aren't dragging the ground, not planting anything, we'll lift these up by setting it on some blocks and then setting the planter down. And then this bar right here will go forward, because this piece lifts up. This bar will go forward and sit on top of that, and that'll be raised up and not in the ground, which will be good. So I basically got this thing wrapped up today, which is good, which is what I was hoping. I'm gonna hook on this other monitor to the battery and check these front 7 rows. I think the wiring on this is probably a little bit chintzier than the other stuff, which is what I was worried about. But other than that, we know it works theoretically. Just gonna kind of give you guys, or those of you who are new or may have forgotten what exactly I'm doing with this planter and my own equipment. Like I said, most of you probably know. If not, if you're new, I've got 142-ish acres of my in-laws that I'm going to start farming this year in 2025. But it is about an hour and 45 minutes away, depending on how fast you're going. So I've bought a disc and a planter, and I'm also going to buy a spring tillage tool to keep down there. And that's going to stay down there, or basically be to farm that. I might bring it back and forth depending on the situation, but that basically is going to be just my personal stuff, my personal ground. I'm going to be making all the decisions on that. I am not stopping up here at the main farm. Still going to be helping up here 100% full time, so nothing is going to change for that. I'm not going to shy away from this. I would like to pick up ground up here, and I hope to very soon, but that's just the way it goes. So I'm hopping on the opportunity down there to start farming down there. I could hopefully to get a few more acres, few more being, I don't know, I guess 300 would be a nice number. And maybe, I don't want to be huge down there. I want my full operation to be up here. I want my home operation to be up here, stay up here, farm with my dad and my brothers. So that's the plan, but we're just gonna see how this goes for a few years and then go from there. If I'm fortunate enough to where my operation up here gets big enough, I'll probably give up the ground down there just so I can focus fully on up here, but that's the plan. Not leaving, not going anywhere, just adding more stress, I guess. So that's where we're sitting with this equipment and these videos. I just checked all the front ones, the 7 of them. They all the lights were on, and I was running my row cleaner here over the eyes. You just want to do that a couple times a year during planting season, especially. Keep the eyes clean because they get dirt and graphite on them. And I believe, so it's going to be kind of difficult. On this monitor, when something's wrong and the row's not working correctly, a light comes on. And it seems to be on this monitor, whenever something's not working right, the light shuts off. So they're basically on all the time. They look like that. So each time I went over all the eyes, all these flashed just a little bit. But this number 6, as you can see, number 6 right here, is working now, but when I went over the eye, it did not flash, but the eye was on. So I have to do a little bit investigating into that. I'm sure it's no big deal, either just some wiring, or I'll just flip-flop the eyes and seed tubes and do that. That's the best way to check, is just use another one that works. So I'm genuinely surprised, and I guess that's good for me. So that's going to save at least $2,000, but by the time you buy, probably $3,000 by the time you buy the monitor, the harnesses, and then I would have had to get different seed tube eyes. So as long as everything seems to work well here, I think I'll just stick with these and on these old ungangly things. But had to do what Dad used to do back in the day when he had the Kinsey 2600 with an alarm. As you can see, it's on all the time because it doesn't think it's planting. But when you test the lights, it shuts off. See, that one flashes just a little bit, so, but that one worked otherwise. So I don't know, I might look into, you can find these on Marketplace for like 50 to 100 bucks. If I think that the monitor's a problem, we'll have to see. But I'm impressed. I'm blessed and fortunate that everything seems to be working how it should, and I didn't have to do a whole lot to it, which is what I was looking for whenever I bought this. I paid probably a little bit more than what I should have, but sometimes, you know what they say, you gotta spend money to make money. So this thing is wrapped up. That's gonna be it for now. I do appreciate you guys watching. For those of you who watched, and those of you who watched this far, and those that you have come back, we do appreciate it here, me, my brothers, and everyone else. So it is encouraging whenever we get views and comments and things like that. So once again, I do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one.